I know. Every Knicks fan, rightfully so, is very angry at the 2 minutes of doom created by Tom Thibodeau. And I promise we're going to get to it soon. But, Tiki, there are many reasons why the New York Knicks didn't close out the Detroit Pistons last night. I haven't done this often, but I'll do it today. Jalen Brunson wasn't good enough. The most clutch player in the NBA. First of all, barely played the fourth quarter, more on that, but was 4 for 16 from the field. He missed 3 free throws. He wasn't good enough. Karl-Anthony Towns, he had his moments. The big game tying 3, yippity-doo-dah. 5 for 14 from the field. He wasn't good enough. The way this game started, you should smell blood at Madison Square Garden. Was not good enough. The way this team comes out in third quarters was not good enough. There was a lot of reasons why the New York Knicks lost, and before we get to the Thibs brain fart, sometimes it's simple. The 2 best players, not only on the New York Knicks, but 2 really good players in Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson came up small in a closeout game at Madison Square Garden.
Right, and sometimes that happens. In big games, you just don't play well. And it sucks. But there's other things that I think also contributed to this game, despite both of those guys scoring under 20 points. And by the way, I'm almost at the point where I feel like if either one of them, or at least one of them, does not score around 30, this Knicks team just can't win. There's just not enough scoring elsewhere. But with all that being said, I feel like this team is completely underachieving. And it started about 3 or 4 weeks ago at the end of the regular season. Look, we know where the Pistons are. The Pistons are young. They're scrappy. They're very well coached. They play with an energy and, I don't know, there's like this edge on their shoulder. And as the season wound down, the Pistons were actually playing as good a ball as anybody.
Since late December, they had a better record than the New York Knicks.
That's exactly right. And the Knicks, like we're sitting here and we're shocked and we're upset and we're like mad at Jalen Brunson. We're mad at Cat. We're mad at Tibbs. But isn't this what we saw down the stretch? Why should we be surprised at the inconsistency that the Knicks are throwing when it's all that they showed us for the last month, basically, including now the postseason, whereas the Pistons are doing what they did the entire back third of the season. Play tough, play hard, play smart, make some big shots, and when it comes down to it, they're going to be physical. This Knicks team is exactly what they showed us. We're just expecting them to be better than the Pistons, which right now they actually aren't.
But talent-wise, they are.
Of course they are. But talent-wise only matters if, one, you are super highly coached, you have a cohesion with one another, and you're motivated. Like, I feel like all 3 of those things are lacking at times in this series.
No, you're right. I mean, I can't argue with that. They have not been well coached. Why they come out of halftimes, and Josh Hart was talking about this after the game last night, why they come out in third quarters and they play awful on a consistent basis probably comes back to coaching.
Right. What happened to the halftime adjustments? I know that's a football thing, but hell.
No, it's a basketball thing, too.
It's an every sport thing.
I agree. So I think the coaching has been fair game all year long, and it continues to be fair game. The lack of cohesion, that's something Tommy has brought up after he thought this was going to be the greatest chemistry experiment of all time. It's not there. So there are a lot of reasons why we're sitting where we are. And look, they're still up 3-2. They should still win this series. But you know what? I'm sick of saying that because they should have won Game 5.
Yeah.
It was in their building with a young Piston team with their backs to the edge. And they didn't take advantage of it. And really, sometimes I don't want to over-exaggerate by what happens in the first quarter of a game. But I'll tell you right now, sitting there with a hand down my pants, casually watching NBA basketball as a nice, fair IBO, I looked at the first 5 minutes and I said, uh-oh, for Knicks fans.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Because how do you come out like that in an elimination game at Madison Square Garden?
You know what I said? Uh-oh. Are we going to have to go to frickin' Detroit?
Well, we are. I mean, that's a done deal. More on that coming up. Like, we will try to save the New York Knicks by going to Detroit. Now, let's get to the final 2 minutes because my brain is going to explode.
This is the word of the week. Egregious.
Egregious.
This is egregiously
You want to go with
bad.
egregious?
This is egregiously bad.
Egregiously bad.
Yes.
So, Madison Square Garden, which I thought was very quiet all night, not to nitpick, but more on that later, rocks when Karl Anthony Towns hits a game-tying three-pointer. This was after 45 seconds earlier, they were down by 5 after Mikal Bridges missed this bad shot as the clock was expiring, and Cade Cunningham hit a big three. So Knicks are down 5, 4 minutes to go, and they quickly go on a 5-0 run that's capped off by Karl Anthony Towns, drilling a long three-pointer that rocks Madison Square Garden. From that moment, everything went to hell. Not only do you have a Cade Cunningham miss that Jalen Duren, and he was doing this all night, easily picks up and slams home, but on that play, Josh Hart goes down. Jalen Brunson was hurt one play earlier. And you know how Jalen Brunson got hurt last night? Does anybody actually know the real answer?
No, tell us.
You know how he got hurt last night?
Tell us.
The Madison Square Garden floor. And this, if you haven't seen this yet, I'll put it out there on social media if you missed it.
I didn't see how the floor hurt.
Absolutely. When Jalen Brunson went to plant his ankle, it looked like it was friendly fire between him and OG Anunoby. That's not what happened. When his ankle went to plant, the floor of Madison Square Garden moved, and that movement caused Jalen Brunson's ankle to move. So whoever had the idea to put down that dopey floor last night, which I know people don't love because it's the logo, but it wasn't put down well because Brunson's ankle literally moved on a shaky Garden floor.
That's interesting because I didn't notice that, but that's a big deal.
Well, guess what? It helped cost them the game. So Jalen's on a gimpy ankle. Josh Hart goes down, and right here, there's no issues. Of course you got to take them out. I don't know if Jalen Brunson was going to come back. I don't know if Josh Hart was going to come back. The problem is, if you're Tom Thibodeau, you have yourself 3 choices. Choice number 1 is just commit a foul once these guys are ready to come back. Problem is the Pistons are in the bonus, so now you're probably handing them 2 points in all likelihood.
Right.
But you at least stop the clock, and you could sub back in the most clutch player in the NBA and the heart of the team in Josh Hart. That's option number 1. Do you like that option? Not ideal.
I mean, whatever. Any of the options that you're going to throw matter. Because we said this yesterday. We talked about Jalen Brunson, the clutchness going all the way back to Michael Jordan, I think was the reference you threw 30-whatever years ago. He's the most clutch player in the NBA right now, statistically, and we see it every game that he plays, especially some of these close ones. 15 points in Game 4 down the stretch. Obviously, he had a bad game today, but still, you want him in the game in that moment.
Absolutely.
And the fact that he was okay, meaning Tibbs, not having him in the game, is baffling to me.
So option number 1 was commit a foul. Tell someone on your team to give a foul. You're going to send Detroit to the line, but to your point, Teak, you get the most clutch player in the NBA back in the game.
Yes.
Option number 2 is to call a timeout. If you call a timeout, the negative is you don't have any left. And that is a risky proposition in a close game.
Worth it.
In the final 2 minutes.
Worth it.
Or option number 3. And option number 3 was the lever that Tom Thibodeau pulled, which is to stand there, awkwardly watch the basketball game with 2 key players not on the floor, and hope. Just hope that Mikal Bridges makes a shot. Hope that Cam Payne makes a floater. Hope that Mikal Bridges makes a corner 3. Hopes that Mikal Bridges makes a jump shot. Hope that all those good looks that they got in the final 2 minutes that featured no Josh Hart, no Jalen Brunson, hope that it works out. And then when there is a dead ball timeout, whether it's under your volition or whatever, you can reinsert them. To me, of those 3 options, it is not giving the foul, because I'm not giving points away. It is not to stand there like a walrus confused. It's to use your timeout, because here's the deal, Coach. And Tom Thibodeau, after the game, I also thought embarrassed himself, because he sat there and said, coach's decision. Okay, dopey coach's decision.
Right, but what made you make that decision is what we want. That's the question. It's not...
I didn't have a timeout.
It's not.
I didn't want to lose the timeout.
Right, it's not what happened, because obviously you can tell us what happened, but why did that happen?
Well, his answer was, I only have 1 timeout. Well, my answer back to Coach would be, I get you don't have a timeout, and it sucks to be left without a timeout. No one's going to minimize that. But what you need to do is extend this basketball game, because there's a chance that timeout you're saving in your back pocket doesn't mean anything because Jalen Brunson isn't on the floor. Doesn't mean anything because Josh Hart isn't on the floor. So, to me, Tom Thibodeau completely screwed this one up. But there was a 4th option. And I'm almost afraid to bring it up, because when I thought about it late last night, I needed to give myself a health check. And I needed to think to myself, is this sane or not? There's a 4th option. There's a 4th option. And I tested my idea on a buddy of mine, and his answer was, Evan, you're a lunatic. And I said, really?
Can I guess?
I'm going to let you guess.
Intentionally turning the ball over.
Intentionally turning the ball over. That is not my idea.
Well, that's a good one.
Can I give you
the fifth option?
You want to guess an idea? You want to guess the? I really had two ideas, but one I quickly put away.
Take a guess, Sean.
Yeah, take a guess on my crazy idea on how Tom Thibodeau could have subbed in Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart with either of the two other options we talked about.
I don't know the full rules on this, but have another player pull the NFL, fake the injury, go down to the point he can't move off the floor.
No, because that's not going to change anything.
But doesn't that make an automatic whistle back and forth if you physically cannot?
The only way there'd be a whistle is if someone bled. So, yes, if you want to go with the Ric Flair blade yourself.
Right. Blade it. Just rip it.
I actually didn't think of that one. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Tommy, do you want to guess my, I think, brilliant idea, though, when I check it with people, they think I'm a maniac? Go ahead.
My initial guess was what Tiki's was just turn the ball over on purpose, but I have an outside-the-box one. Maybe you were thinking this. You turn over, you say to Anne Hathaway, act like you're Tyrese Halliburton's dad, run on the floor. We got to stop the game for who's going to get mad at Anne Hathaway, but you got to stop the game.
That's amazing.
And we could get our star player back in the game.
I like your thinking. So I got to give Sean and Tommy credit. While it's not the idea I came up with, we've got blade yourself like you're Ric Flair, and we've got have a celebrity run on the court.
Yeah.
The other one, this is not my idea, but I know that we have some loyal net fans who listen to the show. We all remember the spill. Do we remember the spill?
Kick over somebody's glass on the side of the court.
Jason Kidd, this is a true story, Nets Lakers. Jason Kidd tells one of his players, I can't remember the player, run into me, run into me, run into me. He runs into Kidd, he drops his coffee all over the floor. Stole a timeout. That is not my idea, though. Okay?
Oh, was it Tracy Morgan throw up? He was there.
That's another good one. This one, though, works. And I'm curious if sitting with a guy who played in the NFL, who was coached up. You played for some pretty good coaches.
I did.
And isn't the beauty of playing for a lot of great coaches is that they coach you on every possible situation?
Absolutely. That's why, as we talked about Bill Belichick yesterday for a while, and now there's some prop bets about Bill Belichick that are pretty interesting. But Bill Belichick was the best coach in the NFL for a period because every player was prepared for every possible situation.
So this scenario, again, let's remind you, I only have a timeout. I don't want to use it. I'm already over the limit in fouls, so I don't want to send the Pistons to the line, but I got two key players standing there at the scorer's table. How do I get them in the game? Stand up, Tiki Barber.
I am
I'm
standing.
going to show you my idea.
Okay?
I'm Deuce McBride.
Yes.
Hello, I'm holding a basketball.
Yes, you are.
You are Cade Cunningham.
Okay.
You're defending me, right?
Yeah.
I just threw the ball off of Tiki Barber, and the ball went out of bounds.
That is brilliant.
And so what just
It landed
happened?
on my seat, too.
Yeah, I didn't actually execute
That was
it.
impressive.
Thank you. So what I just did, and I don't know, I think this is the most brilliant idea I've ever come up with. And I'd be curious if anyone could actually put a hole in this, because there is no hole in this. If there is a dead ball and a ball out of bounds counts as one,
That is
you can make a substitution.
That is a great idea. I mean, it's akin to what I was saying, but it's turning it over, but not turning it over.
No, you're not turning it over. I'm not giving up possessions.
Right.
What I'm doing is, and we see this so many times on plays where a guy's falling out of bounds,
Yes.
you will throw it off your opponent's leg. Now, the Pistons would have no idea this was coming. But if you're Deuce McBride and you're well coached, and unfortunately, I'm not sure how well coached the New York Knicks are. Maybe I need to start coaching a team.
They are not well coached.
I have my player.
They are coached, not well coached.
Thank you. I have Deuce McBride. I'm using him as an example. Ball's in his hands, and he knows, it's the Alamo, whatever they want to call the play. It's the Alamo. You want to call it something else? It's the Hurricane. It's the Avalanche. It's the weird, obscure play we never have to use,
Just
but we
call
have.
it for whatever team you're playing.
The Piston?
It's the
Okay.
Piston.
Either Computer Blue, Darling
Piston.
Picky, something like that.
Okay, whatever you want to call it. We're calling it the Piston Blue. And Deuce McBride, Pistons have no idea, quickly just throws the ball right off Cade's leg. Ball's out of bounds, Knicks ball. Oh, okay, get in here, Josh and Jalen. Dude, I just solved it. And I haven't heard anyone else mention it. And when I brought it up to my buddy,
That's so
my buddy's
simple.
like, Evan, you're diabolical. It's a crazy idea. It's crazy like a fox.
But he meant crazy good.
I don't know if he meant it. Do you think it's crazy good?
Absolutely.
Thank
It's
you.
crazy good.
Thank you.
I wouldn't even have thought about that. But you see it frequently. It's not like it's just a foreign play. Oh, I've never seen that play before. It happens in every game.
That play
at some point or
happens,
another.
but rarely are you in a spot that Coach Thibodeau is in where you're kind of naked here.
Yeah, because it feels like that's only a hurried chaotic in the moment. Wow, great thinking. He got the turnover off of, or not. He staved off a turnover by throwing it off the defender's leg. But to do it intentionally is something I don't think people have thought about. That's a great idea.
Thank you very much.
It's a great idea.
Any holes in this idea?
No, I have no holes. I do want to inform you that it was the infamous Tyshawn Taylor, though, that ran into Jason Kidd.
You didn't need to do that. You didn't need to do that, but thank you. It's good to have the information. I thought of you, Teak, because I always assume that football players are coached every possible situation.
Yeah.
And guys like Bill Belichick, guys like Tom Coughlin,
of course,
guys who are great, they're prepared for everything. And what bothered me about last night, and again, there's a reason why at the beginning of this show I brought up Jalen didn't play well enough. Cat didn't play well enough. They started the game flat. They started the third quarter flat. There are reasons they lost besides that moment. But that moment was embarrassing. And that moment looked like a head coach who I have great respect for was completely unprepared for that situation.
Agreed.
For a situation where I don't have a foul to give, I don't want to use my last time out, but I'm stuck.
Yeah.
And I, a simple 41-year-old idiot, was already able to solve how you could have gotten out of it.
Right.
And I think coaches around the league should be prepared for every situation like that.
They should, and Tom Thibodeau could not have stood there any more cluelessly watching his team play like they didn't know what they were doing. Right? It was the first time in not I'm going to say in a while, but it felt like on the court they were lost without Jalen Brunson in those moments, because in crunch time, clutch moments, Jalen Brunson he's a maven. Like, he knows exactly what to do. The ball is in his hands. He's creative. I mean, sometimes we get criticized in game 2 where he didn't distribute the ball well enough, but whatever. For the most part, he is the general. And without him on the court, they didn't know what they were supposed to or should be doing. You could see it. So Tom Thibodeau, have that play ready, the Evan play. The Evan play ready. Or just call the timeout.
Yes.
I mean, seriously.
Look, you're
screw the last 90 seconds of the game without the timeout. You'll figure it out. You have professionals out there. You're a You'll figure it out without the timeout. But don't have your team look lost without its floor general in the last 90 seconds or 2 minutes because you don't want to use a timeout.
You're completely right. If you're ranking the options, yes, we may all love the Evan idea, but if that wasn't in your head, don't overthink it. Right. Call the timeout, because you need the game to batter with 10 seconds to go. And there's no guarantee that's going to be the case. Don't treat the timeout like it's so valuable you can't use it in an emergency.
Yeah.
And this was an emergency because you have a chance to get, more so Jalen than Josh, but Josh too, 2 of your most important players on the floor.
Right.
And I know we'll go around the room over the next 2 days. We'll all make our predictions on what's going to happen next. I'll tell you right now, I'm already wrong. I thought Knicks in 5. My gut still tells me the Knicks are going to win this series, but I'll tell you this right now. If they don't win this series, the image, just the image of Tom Thibodeau standing there like he's constipated, allowing 2 of his key players to not re-enter a game at the world's most famous arena, I think maybe the image
that gets them fired
of what let this get away.
Well, it's also going to get them fired if they lose this series, because it's go back to the word of the week. Egregiously bad. Timeouts are so important in all sports, right? You see it in football, baseball, everything. You see timeouts being so important. It's not really timeouts in baseball, but you know what I mean. Step aways, step offs, etc. In basketball, a timeout is not more important than your best player.
Now, we all agree the Evan idea is brilliant. For some reason, ball knower JR in Somerville thinks my idea is stupid. Please explain why this brilliance doesn't work for you.
Hey, Brunson went out of bounds, tried to save the ball, throw it off of Cade Cunningham. It's not that easy to do. You saw the best basketball player in New York try to do it, and he couldn't do it.
Different scenario. Okay? That's a different scenario. This is where
throwing a ball off a line while he's dribbling. Oh my goodness, Evan!
Bro, I know you play ball. If you came in here to the studio and I suck, I'm unathletic, I could easily throw the ball off your leg and have it go out of bounds, especially when you don't see it coming, because nobody would see it coming.
You couldn't. No, you couldn't. Okay, and forget about all of that. I wanna also bring this up before I get cut off. The low-hanging fruit is Tom Thibodeau. Listen, I heard Giannis is on the block. I want Cat out of here. I want him gone. 11 of 37 against Tobias Harris and Oscar Thompson last night were the Knicks players, okay? the whole thing is a mess because this guy can't play the 4. Hart's masquerading as a 4. OG and Mikal Bridges are redundant. That's the problem with this whole thing. Now, Cat is out here getting a shot block with 3 minutes to go, and you're telling me that it's Thibodeau's fault? I mean, I understand that.
No. No one's saying that's Thibodeau's fault. There are a lot of reasons why they lost this game.
Right.
And if you heard the top of the show, you can easily rewind. The first few things I at least personally brought up before we got to the low-hanging fruit of Tom Thibodeau was Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns.
Right. It's not all Tom Thibodeau. The last 2 minutes of this game was Tom Thibodeau. Whether you use Evan's idea or call the damn timeout, you have to have your best player on the floor for the last 2 minutes. That is inexcusable. It looks horrible, and his response to it made it worse. To be honest with you, coach's decision. What? Okay, coach, you usually play the dude 44 minutes, and because you don't want to use a timeout, he's going to play 38? Like, what the hell are you talking about? Right? It doesn't compute with what Tom Thibodeau usually does. That's why it's frustrating.
And Evan, even if your plan didn't work, it would still go out of bounds. It would still be a turnover. So they would be a stoppage either way.
Right.
No. Yeah, either way.
JR was wrong. You could throw it off a guy's leg. They could catch it maybe.
But I'm not planning to turn it over. I don't feel comfortable giving a possession
away.
But
if you do turn
it over,
it stops the clock.
Right. You're getting Brunson in the game.
Then it becomes my idea.
Right. And
intentionally turn the ball over.
And it's completely different than the inbounds play he talked about where I thought the Knicks were going to pull it off and actually get the ball back. I think at that point down by 3. It's different because everyone's expecting it.
Right.
Like, no one, as the Knicks are setting up their offense, is going to expect Deuce McBride to purposely throw the ball off the leg of Cade Cunningham. It's completely different. And yes, you're right. Worst case scenario, it goes out of bounds. It's a turnover. I at least get Jalen Brunson back in the game.
There is breaking news surrounding the New York Jets, Evan.
The New York Jets.
Yeah.
They changed their mind. Rodgers is back. I'm just kidding.
No
chance.
Days after the NFL draft in which they did not select a quarterback, Jordan Travis has now informed the Jets he's retiring from the NFL.
Wow. Retiring. So that recovery from that injury.
It was a fractured and dislocated ankle in which he suffered a setback last year, and he is now going to retire from the NFL.
Wow. What a stunning turn of events. We've mentioned his name a lot as that wild card option, that other lottery ticket. And Jordan obviously makes the decision to walk away from the game after trying to recover from this thing for like a year and a half now. That's shocking. And you're right, to your point. Like, I thought it made sense for the Jets to add another quarterback in this draft because I looked at Jordan Travis anyway and said, I don't know what to expect from him. The guy's missed a year and a half due to injury.
He hasn't played since, what 2022? 3?
No, he played at the end of that 2023 season.
Yeah, it was like December of 23. So it's been a year and a half.
Game,
So obviously he's had enough setbacks to decide to walk away. So interesting. You know what that means? Once the Giants get rid of Tommy DeVito, we'll bring him in. He'll be our third stringer.
You might be right.
You might be right.
I know I'm right. I wasn't saying that sarcastically. We'll get to your calls coming up at 888-808-1019.